All right, we're going to talk about body fluid compartments and answer the questions. What percent of the body is water? What percent is intracellular and extracellular fluid? And what percent of extracellular fluid is interstitial fluid and plasma? All right, hello everyone. My name is Dr. Morton and I'm the noted anatomist. So to begin, water contributes to a large portion of our body mass. So if you take a look at this picture and you think, all right, 40% of our body solids, things like muscles and bones, and 60% is water. Now this varies, of course, based on the size of the individual and such, but let's stick with this because it makes the math easiest. 60% of our body is composed of water. Now where is this water found inside the body? Well, if we look at this schematic, that the cell membrane separates the cell from the rest of the body, and the cell membrane is a barrier. It's a semi-permeable membrane that separates the inside of the cell from the outside of the cell. So the fluid inside the cell we call intracellular fluid, and outside we call extracellular fluid. So intracellular fluid is 2/3 of all the water we have in our body. And the rest of it, the 1/3, is outside the cell. So basically, to recap, this cell membrane separates the intracellular fluid, 2/3 of all of our body water, from the extracellular fluid, the other third. Cool? Now, the extracellular fluid is further subdivided into two other fluid compartments. Plasma, which is the fluid found inside of our vessels, that's about 1/4 of that extracellular fluid. And then the interstitial fluid is 3/4 of all that extracellular fluid. So plasma and interstitial fluid make up the extracellular fluid. Like that. Ta-da! Plasma is 1/4, interstitial fluid is 3/4 of the 1/3, and the intracellular fluid makes up the other 2/3. All right, so there we've got it. Now the cell membrane separates the intra from the extracellular fluid compartments, and the capillary wall separates the plasma from the interstitial fluid. That's always going to come up quite a bit when we talk about cardiovascular physiology. That was fun, wasn't it? Let's do it again, except with a bigger picture and add some cells. So there's a cell, another one, there's another cell. And so a tissue is simply a group of cells organized for a common purpose. So we have a tissue. Now, what do we call the space within the tissue? We call it interstitial. Inter, between, stitial, fluid, the interstitial space, which is containing interstitial fluid. And so that water, interstitial fluid, is really just bound to these proteoglycans that make this gel type, right? Now, what do we call the fluid in a vessel? We call it plasma. We take plasma and interstitial fluid,